we have learned that the three core intermolecular forces are ion-ion, which occur between two ionic compounds, dipole-dipole, which occurs between two polar molecules, and London dispersion forces, which occur in all molecules, including nonpolar molecules. Okay, so these are the three core intermolecular forces that play a huge role in stabilizing the interaction between molecules. In this video, we're going to explore two more intermolecular forces that are really kind of a combination of two of these. Okay, the first one is one that you're probably familiar with, which is hydrogen bonds. Okay, so hydrogen bonds are incredibly important in anything that occurs in water, right? So they are they're a special type of dipole-dipole, and in fact they're kind of mixed between a dipole-dipole and a covalent bond. Okay, so the idea here is that you have a shared hydrogen. Okay, so hydrogen is at the center of a hydrogen bond, and this bond is covalently linked to one atom and non-covalently linked to another one. Okay, so we have, let's say, X and we have Y. Okay, so the hydrogen is between these two atoms. One of them it's covalently bonded to, and the other one it's interacting through a non-covalent intermolecular force. Okay, so the identity of these atoms is important, right? So X can either be nitrogen, oxygen, or fluorine. Likewise, Y can be a nitrogen, an oxygen, or a fluorine. Okay, so a hydrogen bond occurs between nitrogens, oxygens, and fluorines, and it occurs by sharing hydrogens. Okay, we call it a special intermolecular force because it's not one of the three core intermolecular forces, but in terms of strength, it fits in here. Okay, so it's stronger than a dipole-dipole interaction, but it's weaker than an ion-ion. The other type of a special intermolecular force is an ion-dipole. And as the name suggests, ion-dipole intermolecular forces are a mixture between an ion-ion and a dipole-dipole. So they occur between an ion, let's say a positive charge, and the partially negative end of a polar molecule. Okay, so the interaction that occurs between this positive charge and this partially negative charge is an ion-dipole. And a really good example of this would be dissolving salt, like sodium chloride, into water. So when sodium chloride dissolves into water, the sodium and the chloride separate. And they separate because because ion-dipole interactions occur, and they overcome the ion-ion interaction that's experienced by the sodium chloride. So the sodium has a positive charge, and it needs to interact with the negative dipole of water. Okay, so when we think about water, we know water is a polar molecule, and it has a partially negative end and a partially positive end. So this partially negative end interacts with the positive charge of sodium. So every single interaction between sodium and the negative end of oxygen is an ion-dipole. And as it turns out, sodium makes a number of these ion-dipole interactions, which collectively makes it a strong intermolecular force, strong enough that it can break apart the ion-ion interaction between sodium and chloride. In the next video, we're going to explore all of these intermolecular forces in more detail. We'll look at compounds and assess which intermolecular forces exist, and use those assessments, use those assignments of intermolecular forces to figure out some important trends in molecule interactions.